Hello, gorgeous woman. I am so excited to be here with you. And you are the first cab off the rank. You are the first of the graduating beautiful erotic mavens. And you jumped in to volunteer yourself first to talk to the world about who you are, what you're doing, what your process has been to get here as a Yoni massage practitioner. And so I just wanted to give people a chance to get to know you and to find out where you are, how they can work with you, what's your story. Because one of the biggest things with this work, as you now know, is that women need to trust you. They need to know who you are and feel comfortable with you before they can jump in and do this incredible fucking work. So that's why I'm doing these lives, is to give you all a chance to just let the world know who you are and what's your story. So this is the gorgeous Kate. Now, Kate, tell us a little bit about just kind of who you are and how you decided, what brought you to want to be a Yoni massage practitioner.
Okay, so I'm Kate and I live on the south coast of New South Wales at a beautiful location near Jervis Bay. And I grew up in the country, so I'm a country girl at heart, and life has taken me a lot of twists and turns to get to where I am now. I guess I grew up as a tomboy, so one of my things that I have developed and grown into is really embracing my femininity and my feminine self. So I haven't always, I guess, been overly passionate about, girly stuff, girly
Yeah.
bits and pieces and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, we're told it's weak and boring and rubbish, so why would you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been a midwife. I grew into a midwife, and I've been in that field for 15 years. And I guess having had the opportunity to work with so many women from diverse walks of life, in rural and remote locations and also overseas, I guess those women are really my feminine heroes, because they have, brought me to have a great appreciation for just life as a woman in this physical world that we live in. And they really are the matriarch of family, and women are just powerful in all aspects of life and know how to act in certain ways at certain times, when it's appropriate, when it's maybe not so appropriate. And women are just such flexible, versatile beings, They're just, delicious, and I love them. So what I have grown into is a Yoni massage practitioner, and this is now the space that I need to work in to help more women and to be able to serve more women, and where it really comes from the heart and flows freely for me. So I'm really just loving this next stage of life, and I guess having worked on the flip side of my feminine world in a very masculine world, I guess, and I've been able to learn a lot about how to get my energy onto the feminine side. So I'd like to be able to now work with women in learning how to exchange that energy from one way to another way, if they feel that that's what's holding them back. I want women to know what it's like to feel worshipped and held, and just, with no judgment and with no ego and with no expectation, just to be. I think that's really important. It's important for women in all facets. So whether it's a woman in the city or a woman in the country, all women need to be able to access this. So that is my goal by becoming a Yoni massage practitioner, is to share how brilliant and peaceful it is to actually go there and allow yourself to go there, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I love how you said that you have grown into it. Like, I think that's such a really important thing to point out. Like, we don't just become these things or just decide we do the course and then you're it. It's like, it literally is a process of growing personally, because there's so much within you as a woman that you have to look at and grow and shape and change and shift to actually be able to step into this work. And, the same with becoming a midwife, like all of these things that require full embodiment of us. Yeah, you have to fucking grow into them. You can't just be it magically. Like, it's a process. So I love the way that you said that. It's so true. So tell us about what's something that has challenged you the most personally about becoming a Yoni massage practitioner.
I think for me personally, I think it is tapping into the self-exploration. That was a big challenge, because sex and all that sort of stuff, I was brought up with it, just sort of like, oh, it's a chore, it's downtrodden. Don't really worry too much about it. So being able to explore myself sexually has been a big challenge. The other challenge has been, like I say, just taking on that feminine self, because I've really struggled with that. Yeah. And to be able to embrace it, I think is the real challenge, and say to myself, you know what, it's okay. It's okay, Kate. It's all right. You can be a tomboy, but you know what? You can also be an absolute queen. And
oh, fuck yeah.
that's great. I love it. So just knowing that, and believing in myself fully, in my heart and in my gut, just believing in myself. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really important, because this work is challenging, and it challenges those around us, like especially partners and family, close friends. And so you've got to have that strong conviction within yourself, like that belief in yourself, to go through with this course, because when it gets rocky, it would be really easy to give up, because those around you are like, why the fuck are you doing that? That's so weird. Like, what are you doing? And so you've got to have that drive to push, to keep going, because you know that there's something so much bigger on the end of it. So did you have those moments where you were challenged by your close kind of community with what you're doing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And quite often, and like I say, I live in a rural community, in a country
Conservative.
town. Conservative, yes. They're all horse riders and lovers of all things plain and simple. And as a woman, to actually step into owning your femininity in that world is really quite tough, and it's very confronting for my peers, for my people. It was very confronting, and they're like, oh no, don't talk to me about that, I don't want to know about that. And I guess that was really hard. So being able to comfortably sit with myself in stillness, and in times of, oh my God, I just really would love to talk to somebody about this, but saying, you know what, Kate, you can talk to you about it, because so for me, that was a big growth, that was a big change, it was a big challenge. And I guess also within my family, so talking about this stuff within my family, and you hear all the bicker and chatter and the jokes and the this and the that I could either take to heart and run away and hide and never look at this again, or I could, on the flip side, is just to embrace it, hear it, argue with them about it, or I could just accept that that's where they're at with this, and just know that, you know, at least I've given it over, I've handed it out there, and it's now up to the world to decide how they choose to feel about it. I mean, I am 100% committed to this work, because it's really my path, and so therefore I'm not going to sit back and be afraid and shy, and I'm not going to not stand up for it and speak out for it because of what people may or may not say.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's such a beautiful demonstration of your conviction to this work, because you have to be committed to it, because it's not an easy path. This work is controversial. It makes people uncomfortable, and it doesn't stop. Like, it just keeps going. You know, I've been doing this for 3 years, and it keeps going. There's more layers and bigger audiences and more people that get uncomfortable. So it's like, yeah, you've got to want to do this work and recognize how powerful it is. So, you know, and I love that you said that you've got to accept that that's where they're at with it. That's so important. You know, a lot of people, when they have a strong message and something for the world, they want to shove it down people's throats. And like, you've got to know this, you've got to do this, you've got to get it and understand it. But it's like, you've got to respect people's journey. Everybody is at a different place, especially when it comes to sex, sexuality, sensuality, sexual power, all of those things. Everybody is at a different place. So you've got to respect that in your audience and your community as well. So I love that you have that insight and can see that. I'm just looking on the Facebook Live, and there's lots of love hearts going off. So they're loving what you're saying. And if you have questions, please do let us know. So what then is probably one of the biggest amazing things that has happened for you in this training? Like, what's the best thing that has come out of this for you personally?
Oh, you know, this is probably going to sound really, you know, I don't care what it sounds like. Like I just said, I don't care what this sounds like. But I tell you that the best thing is, I am now having the best orgasms.
Fuck yes!
Yay. I love it. And I just have this beautiful connection with my yoni, with my clitoris and my cervix, and I just love them all equally, you know, and just to learn how to, you know, find pleasure in all of those delicious spots that I never knew about. I was sexually deprived, really, because now I'm just finding out that if I do this, or hold my body that way, or think a certain way, or breathe in and hold, do all those awesome stuff, little tricks. And, you know, my husband is just ecstatic that I've learned this, you know. I thought, oh my goodness, what's he going to say if I go into this sort of work? And, you know, but he really loves it and supports me 100%. So, you know, I'm really blessed and privileged to have such a good support next to me, who's my mate.
Yeah, that's so beautiful, because that's the thing. There is a ripple effect when you step into this work, and some of it requires uncomfortableness and shift and change, and some of it is like people are going, wow, what is she doing? Like, she's becoming this fucking amazing woman. How? I want what she's got. Like, the ripple effect is noticeable, and that's one of the things for women who either are receiving as your clients. You know, the impact that yoni massage is huge, but also you as a practitioner, like you said, it's changed your sex life. Like, that wasn't part of the course, but that's just what happens. The ripple effect is there. So I love that. That's absolutely beautiful. So what are you offering to women now? Like, who are you as a practitioner, and what can they expect if they come to you?
Okay, so what I am offering is I am offering an opportunity to explore yourself. And I'm really here for women who are going through transition. They're not really sure where they're at, what they're doing. They're sort of like in limbo, but they just really want to find out a bit more about themselves and or go back to have an emotion. Like some people are just at a point where they're just emotionally mute.
Yeah.
And I think being able to feel a love and connection with yourself and in your own heart and conjure up all those beautiful juices back again to have excitement and to celebrate excitement. People who have lost the sense of joy in their life. I'm really here for women who are looking to find themselves again, to find that beautiful, intelligent, young, adventurous, whoever it may be, that sexy woman that's hidden deep within. I'm there for those women who want to find that person again.
Yeah.
So I am working on with circles, and I'm looking at with retreats, and I'm looking with one-on-one consultations. I am available for all women in all sorts of forms, whether it be groups or individual.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, yeah.
Beautiful. So there is a couple questions here for you. So the first one is, did you go into the training for personal growth or to become a practitioner? That's a really good question.
That's a cracker question. And, you know, for me, it was a combination, and I didn't really know the answer to it. But having had that midwifery background where I was it just wasn't sitting right with me, midwifery as such. And I felt that I needed to grow my own sexual self. I needed to grow my own confident self. I went into this as, okay, this potentially could be another modality for my current business.
Yeah.
But this could also potentially just be, you know, something I need to go and learn for me. But I didn't know the definite answer, but the actual answer has turned out to be both. Double, you know, like, so it is for me. And I don't believe that you can do this work without it being for you. It's not like something that you can just go and learn how to make coffee and sell coffee. You know, you've got to love coffee. You've got to love the smell of coffee. You've got to want to be a coffee to sell a coffee, you know.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. Yeah, totally. I completely agree. And, you know, that's, you can't, like, even if you come into this to learn a new modality, you personally doesn't remain untouched. So yeah, both happen as automatically. It's just part of the process, because to become a practitioner, you have to step into a part of yourself. You have to become an erotic maven. And you can't do that just logically through your brain capacity. That's full embodied experience. So yeah, absolutely. And there's another question here from our Facebook Gorgeous Women. Did your husband support you from the beginning, or was it something that took him time to accept?
Yeah. Well, I said to him, oh, I want to go and do this course. Oh, yeah, that sounds good, he says. So are you going to do it? And I said, yes. And he said, what is it? I told him the name. He said, oh, good on you, you know. What is it? And I said, well, it's Yoni massage. And then he's like, oh, well, what's Yoni massage? You know, I said, well, vaginal massage. You know, like I had to try and put it into his language.
Put it in men's terms, yep.
And so, oh, so are you a lesbian? That was the first.
Yep.
Yeah,
one
no,
response.
honey. No, honey. You should know I'm not a lesbian. No, I'm not a lesbian. And so it's like, oh, okay, right. And then he was just supportive. I think I'm, like I say, I'm really blessed, because he's just like, okay, well, if you think that's a good idea, then do it. You know, whatever makes you happy, honey. That's his answer.
Good man.
So yeah, and then once I did the practitioner and we did the practical in Bali at the retreat, you know, he was nervous about me going over there. Just, I think it was, oh my God, this is real. She is actually going to be doing this type of work. And he didn't get it still, but he was like, yeah, that's cool. I said, look, I will really know more when I get back, because I was still like, I don't really know what it is.
After a month and a half in the course, she still had no idea what she was doing. Right.
Yeah, still not 100% sure. And I did actually go to the retreat with some fears about how much I would change and what that change would look like on the other side. And I can distinctly remember that. I was fearful of the unknown. And now to be on the other side of the training and know exactly what it is about. I came home and told him exactly what it is about, and he just said, brilliant. If you feel that's what women need, then do it. You know, so yeah, I was really blessed.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's beautiful. And I love that because it you know, it takes trust with that, because yeah, it's a weird different thing, and a lot of the time you don't know what you're stepping into. And I also love that you mentioned the fears that you brought to Bali, to the retreat, because I think every woman can relate to that. Every single woman who's in this training with you can relate to that. And especially now, as you're about to graduate and step out there, it's like, shit, who am I becoming? And you know, and we were messaging the other day, and we were talking about something else, about you stepping into the sexiness and the gorgeousness of your body, and you're like, I'm terrified. I was like, well, what's the worst can happen? And your response was, well, I might rock it and knock it out of the park and become famous. I was like, yeah, so the most terrifying thing is our success, is our power. And I think that, you know, that sums it up, that nails it. And so what going into that fear that you felt coming to the retreat, what really was it? Like, what were you thinking you were going to become? Or was it just completely unknown? You just really, you knew that change was coming, but you couldn't identify it? Like, what was that like for you?
Oh, I was really worried that it would affect my relationship with my husband.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my biggest fears, was how does this look on the other side with my husband? Because I didn't really know what I was going there to do. And I did reassure him that I would know more when I got back. Yeah, and I guess it was probably just our relationship. Which direction would it go? But what I've found, and I'm really proud of him for this, is that he's actually up-leveled as well. He's stepped up. So, and I think that just comes from me leading the way, really, for him to now up-level and move forward on things. So,
yeah, absolutely. And that's, you know, that I think that's one of the most important things, because when women work on themselves, they do up level, and it has the potential to create a rift in a relationship, or to give him an opportunity to meet her where she's at. And I think what you said before is acknowledging that people are where they're at, and that's okay, is a big part of that. So you saying, this is what I'm doing, and it's all right for you where you are, which in a way let him know there's no pressure. It's okay to join me. It's okay to come up here and up level yourself and work on yourself. And he did, which is awesome.
yeah.
Which is really awesome. Yeah. So what would you say then to women, because the number one reason that women don't have a yoni massage is because their partner says no. He's not comfortable with it. I'm talking about male heterosexual partners here. So now, going through what you've been through, coming out the other side, seeing the growth, what would you say now to women, your clients, when their husband says that? I can't have my massage because my husband said no. Or even to women that want to do the practitioner training, but their husbands are like, fuck no. What would you say to them?
So I would say, and you know, this is also one thing that I did say to my husband too, but it wasn't because he said no. It was simply because I felt that, you know, he was still a little bit unsure. It was that by me doing this, and so therefore I would suggest to women, women to say, by themselves actually stepping up and going and getting a yoni massage, it works on the energetic field. It works on, you know, potentially sexual pleasure. It's just a way for you to discover who you are and also who you are sexually. One of my big things was that if I know what I like, if I learn what my body does and I learn where parts of my body are, I can honestly say that I'm going to learn a lot more about my sexual pleasure, and then I can tell you, and then you can just continue to pleasure me, you know, in a positive way, you know, like, oh, it's going to be brilliant, you know, our sex life is going to be great because I'm going to know how you need to pleasure me and you're going to know how to do it, you know, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about women that aren't coming for sexual reasons? Like they might have birth trauma, or they might have horrendous periods, or they might not be able to orgasm, or just other disconnection, like maybe they've had a hysterectomy and they feel disconnected to their feminine. What would they potentially get out of it by having a massage with you?
So because part of the massage, there's a bit of de-armoring that can also occur. I guess just going to a space that's safe, with no judgment, knowing no expectation, and just to let it all out. Because sometimes women just got nowhere to go. And when they got nowhere to go, you know, that's when, you know, they need to come see Katie. Because, you know, it is so much more than that. And it is a potential for women to get rid of a layer. You know, if you think of yourself as an onion, just let down those layers, get rid of those barriers, discover what holds within your perineum, within your perineal floor. Discover how you can have that release, because pleasure is an altered state of consciousness. So pleasure is not necessarily sexual pleasure. It might just be the fact that somebody touches your face. It may just be pleasure that you've got somewhere to unleash all of this stuff that you want to data dump on somebody, just to give you a release, because that can be pleasure. So being able to do that, have that release, whether it's an emotional release, whether it's a physical release, whether it's a, you know, an auditory or a visual release, because sometimes you can go into this, you know, on these beautiful little journeys whilst you're having a really nice sensual massage. So it's to do with light touch, firm touch, you know, blowy, breezy touch, you know, it's just it's out of this world, and it really is next level stuff for women. You know, and I guess sometimes if you are having trouble with a partner sort of saying, well, what are you doing that for? You can just say to them, look, I'm not going there for sexual pleasure, because you may not be, and you probably are not. You're going there to have this experience in order to discover yourself, you know, particularly if you've been places and you've tried lots of modalities of things before, and you genuinely feel nothing has helped, and nothing has helped you heal your heart. This is just another thing to go and try to see if you can heal your heart and your soul, because it's really that powerful, because it is such a tangible experience, because you're experiencing physical, you're experiencing the touch of physical touch, you're experiencing an emotional, mental exchange and change, you're experiencing an energetic exchange, and you know, you are having your genitals touched, so you may very well have a sexual experience as well. You know, and it's really important to know that it's not just a sexual thing, because it is so much more before it is that sexual thing. And women, we all know that if our mind is not in the right place for sex, we are not going to orgasm. It doesn't matter how good they are.
Yeah.
So we're very psychological beings, women, and in order to tap into our divine feminine, we need to allow it to be so encompassing of everything, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So well said. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. That's such an important thing to say. Like, it's as sexual as this is, it's not sexual at all. And that's, that's part of the reason why I created the training the way that I did, and part of the reason I want to give you the exposure so that women can start to get this message and men can start to get this message. Yes, it's sexual, but it's not sexual either. There's this paradox that exists in this work, and that's hard to get your logical brain around, but it's just the way it is. And the more we start to learn about that and embrace it, the more okay we can become with it, and then we can step into actually creating the change that we need to. So there's one more question here that I'm going to read. How have you found other women responding to your transition into becoming a yoni massage practitioner?
Yes, wow, this is a good one, because women who knew me thought they knew me, and they actually really don't know me. So I have noticed that some people have become more standoffish. Some people have, which is okay, look, you know, and people are going to respond to this line of work and what I do in their own way. But some women, you know, I can see when I'm talking to them, there's a little sparkle in their eye that goes, oh my God, is that possible? Is that such profound change possible? And some women are like, wow, this is so interesting. I really want to talk to you more about this. Or, oh my gosh, I really need to know more. And a lot of people who I have spoken to have said, oh, I want to know more. Can you link me into this, that, the other? And I say, well, there's not a lot out there. And if you Google yoni massage, you know, it's like some weird sex cult that you think, I don't want to borrow off. So that's where I just continue to, you know, refer them on to yourself, because you've written a lot of literature around it and done a lot of podcasts and works. And I think, you know, you, Amy, have essentially became a game changer for this industry. And it's so important to know that it's not some trashy sex thing. And that's something I want to be part of. I want to be part of something that is profoundly going to change the way women feel about themselves and hold themselves and hold their families.
Yeah, part of the revolution. That's what this is. We're revolutionizing this industry and this work for women. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So that's, I think, did I answer the question?
Yeah, I think, and you're right. I think the most common reactions are people are like, oh, wow, that's fascinating. Tell me more. And then other people are like, what? What? Oh, there's a dog over there. Bye.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, that's fine. That's totally okay. And that is going to happen with all of your friends, your family, your community, all of the women, the men in your life. And it's really interesting. You get to know people's comfort zones and their edges. So it's, I think it shows a lot about your life and the people that are in it. And yes, things are going to change. So don't do this unless you want things to change. Like, it happens. And I think that's such an important thing for women to know stepping into having a yoni massage, that it's going to create ripples. It's going to create change in your life. And it might happen in the way you expect, and it might happen in the way you completely do not expect at all.
Yeah,
and that's the beauty of it. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, gorgeous woman. So to finish up, tell us again where you are and how women can find you. What's the name of you or your business or your Facebook page or anything, so that they can come and find you and hunt you down and book in to work with you.
Okay, so I am Kate Stein, but my business is Katie Stein's Hypno Healing and Massage. So you can find me at www.katiestein.com.au. You can also find my Facebook page. It's Katie Stein's Hypno Healing and Massage, and think that's all.
Cool.
I think that's the only one.
And
Oh,
so,
you can call me. You can call me 0437 148292. And that's, or email me at kate@katiestein.com.au. And it's KATIE, not KATY.
cool. So all of those links will be in the description of this video, and so that you can contact Kate, and you can also find her as a practitioner on the Temple of She website as well. And so you are in the Jervis Bay area of New South Wales, Australia, yeah?
Yes, which is 2.5 hours south of Sydney, 2.5 hours east of Canberra. So that's me.
Yeah.
One day.
Beautiful. Thank you, gorgeous woman. Have you got any last words of wisdom that you would like to give women who are wanting to explore themselves in this way?
Don't waste any time, because the sooner you do this, the better you will feel, and the better everything will feel. It'll all start to fall into place. I'm actually questioning why I took so long.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, cool. All right. Thank you, gorgeous woman. Thank you so much for your time. Goodbye, Facebook.
Goodbye.
Awesome. Okay.